Milash, and I'm here at the Hub Culture Pavilion in Davos at the World Economic Forum. Really pleased to be joined by Michael Herzog, International Fellow at the Washington Institute for Near East Policy and a retired Brigadier General. Thank you very much for coming along.
Thank you for having me.
It's been quite a year, 2014. You look at Middle Eastern affairs, the rise of more jihadists. How are things different, do you think, today than they've been?
Things are evolving and not in a very good way, unfortunately. Since the outbreak of the so-called Arab Spring, what we see is an unprecedented and dramatic earthquake in the Middle East. We today are surrounded by states which are either failed states, dysfunctional, fragmented, weakened, they don't function. This gives rise to non-state actors, mostly violent non-state actors. So you see suddenly the Islamic State in the heart of the Middle East, implanting the epicenter of global jihad, fighting a bitter war against Muslims and non-Muslims. So everything, we're standing on shaky ground, on shifting sands. Everything around us is crumbling. And I believe that what's happening in the Middle East may take many years, perhaps decades, to build a new order. It will require, first and foremost, efforts within the Muslim world, because before talking about the clash of civilization, I believe there is a struggle within Islam about how it positions itself regionally and internationally.
Why are so many young people drawn to this idea of jihad? Not just from within the Middle East, but from across Europe.
This is a question very primary on my mind. And when I look at the coalition now fighting the Islamic States, the US-led coalition with like 60 nations contributing, and they have a military strategy and they have a comprehensive strategy to put pressure on all the elements of support for the Islamic State. One element to me is lacking, that is a coherent strategy to identify the sources of allure to the Islamic State and to better understand what is it that attracts so many thousands of people. According to intelligence estimates, about 1,000 people a month flock to the Islamic State. Now, according to research already available, it seems that it cannot be explained merely by religious radicalization. There are other elements as well. It's probably a mix, a combination of dire conditions of many Muslim communities. I would say for Muslims in the Middle East, a very serious crisis of governance. I would say for Muslims in Europe and in the West at large, an identity crisis, an acute identity crisis. And this is coupled by acute psychological needs, according to research, like the need for a coherent, clear answers, black and white answers, especially for young people, like the need to feel value, significance to what they're doing. And Islamic State sends across a very appealing message with a very strong media machine that, on the one hand, through religion provides very clear answers, like Manichaean, black and white, good and evil, gives them the chance to employ violence, which also satisfies some of their psychological needs, to feeling that they have some significance, sends across a very resonant message about reinstating Islam's glory, might and so on in the fight against the decaying West. And beyond that, I believe that the fact that until now we've seen an image of an unstoppable wave of success by these Islamists also attracted many young people to join, to experience adventure and so on. And in my view, one very important element in combating the Islamic State is, as I said, to identify and understand what attracts people to them, to address this problem, and also to stop this image, to reverse the image of success. For example, I want to see images, footages of Islamists, of jihadists surrendering. That's why I think the fight in Kobani is so important for practical and symbolic reasons. I want to show young people that these people can be defeated, and it's very important.
Is the reaction after Paris by Western governments, do you think, the right one?
Well, I think there's still more to be done, and first and foremost, I would start by accurately defining the problem. It's not just, extremism in general terms. This is something that has unique, specific roots in our region. It's, I would say, taking Islam and stretching it to extreme edges. And that has to be named, addressed, because you can't just say these are insane people.
Yep.
It's not enough to explain and then to provide solutions. You have to identify the problem as it is, name it as it is, and by doing so, you're not insulting or generalizing about all Muslims. You're just saying that first and foremost, this is a struggle within Islam, or as President Sisi of Egypt said, there needs to be some kind of reform and fighting these forces.
Michael Herzog, thank you so much for stopping by the Hub Culture Pavilion.
Thank you very much.
Here in Davos, and I'm Edie Lush.